Good afternoon, everybody. This is Joy Lasry, your administrator today, and I have with us Steve Padilla. I do have a sponsor for this program, and I'd like to just take a few minutes of your time to give him a boost here. So Luscious Moss Studio, owned and operated by Chad Quist, is the sponsor. He has his studio in Edgewood, Washington. He primarily specializes in guitar and drum recordings. He has I think it's like 10 or more mics on drum sets. So you get an extremely good sound there. And he tries to create the ambiance for creativity and collaboration. So with that being said, we do have Steven with us. And Steven, the first question I want to ask you today is how you got into music and what your first instruments were.
Well, I think it goes way, way, way back. As a little kid, I loved to sing. So I've always loved music, but I had a tendency to have like percussion. And so I would, grab spoons and be pounding on stuff, my mother tells me. And so then they bought me a little drum set for Christmas, one of those little tiny ones. I thought it was real, actually. So I was playing drums for a couple of years on that.
How old were you?
I guess maybe 9, something like that, when I was pounding on those drums, 9, 10 in there. And then I kind of didn't do much with anything for a bit. And then when I was about almost 12, I think, my father came into my room and he had a guitar that was his, and it was just kind of a little beater guitar. And he didn't know how to play it. I thought he knew how to play it because I was just a young kid, and he'd just pound on it. And I thought he knew how to play it, but he didn't. And so apparently he wanted to play vicariously through me. So he gave me that guitar and he said, "You're starting lessons on Thursday."
Oh, how cool.
I had no choice in the matter. And so I started playing, and honestly, I didn't like it that much, but I was told to do it, so I did. And it took a couple of years, but I grew into it, and of course now I love it, and I've been playing ever since. So I was about 12.
Wow. I do have somebody who said, well, hello, you two. They didn't leave their name. So if, we would really like to know who you are when you make your comments. So if you enter your name, tell me who you are. Appreciate that. So after you learned to play this guitar, how long did it take you to finally get to the point where you felt comfortable with it?
With playing music or performing?
Both.
Oh, well, playing music.
Elly Mae. Sorry to tell me.
Yeah. I was comfortable playing the guitar right away. I sort of had a knack for it. It's not, as I said, I didn't really like it that much, but I just had an aptitude towards it. So it's kind of odd, but that's just what it was. And then I think I did my first solo performance. I was about 3 years into guitar lessons. And so the guy who did the guitar lessons had a concert that he would have all of his students, their parents would come and all of that. And so we usually played all together. But then, so I guess I would have been about 14, 15, maybe 14 when I did my first solo performance.
How'd that go?
Yeah. The funny thing about it, I still play. I won't play the whole thing, but it went. It's the only thing I remember from the guitar lessons. Is that one
kind of sounds like Spanish guitar? They teach
it's actually Russian. It's an old Russian classical song. It's the only thing I remember, and I think because I practice it, day and night, because I was going to be, I was his feature soloist. So. So that was the first time I performed in front of people. So I would have been about 14 or 15, maybe.
Did you have any stage fright, or were you pretty comfortable by that time?
No, I was scared to death.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Yeah. So how long did it take you to get over that stage fright Is that?
I battled with stage fright for a long time. I probably was in my 20s before I really, but what would happen is I'd get really, really nervous before I'd go up on stage. And then once I got on stage, I was just fine. I was like in my living room, but it was just this torture.
Yeah.
Up to, and when I had a performance gig, either in a group or doing a solo thing, I would stress on it for weeks and weeks.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I've got to do this thing. I've got to do this thing, and can't wait till it's over. That sort of thing. Now it's completely the opposite. I say I can't wait. I get to do this thing, and I can't wait to do it. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I still have nerves. I don't know. I don't really. I don't have so much for the performance itself or like beforehand, but when I'm performing, my mouth goes dry, and it makes it very difficult to sing.
That's why you have water standing by.
Exactly. Absolutely. Okay, so, well, how old are we at? We're at about 15 years. What happened from that point on?
Well, then I discovered that girls like guys who played guitar.
Yeah.
And so that sort of gave me the incentive to really buckle down and become a better guitar player. Plus, I was playing different music then. I was playing in garage rock bands, and I was playing any place I could play because I was at that point really digging playing. I loved the instrument at that point. Wow. I loved performing, and so I was just playing any place I could. And so I played in a bunch of garage bands, and I played in the high school I was in middle school then, I guess, and then high school jazz band. I played guitar in the jazz band, and got to be a teacher's assistant in band. And so it was cool because they had the school had just built a big new school. This is in Colville, Washington, and they built a big new school with a really nice facility for band, and with a lot of really great equipment, big speaker stands and all of that. Yeah. And so I had the keys because I was a TA. And so on the weekends I would go over there, and I'd get a bunch of guys, and we'd just go over and we'd put those big speaker stands in a circle and get right in the middle of it, and we'd play until our fingers bled.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, it sounds like a lot of fun. That you had a lot of fun with all of this growing up.
Had my first big concert there too, my solo concert, sponsored by the high school band teacher. So it was they had a really nice auditorium, and she said, you need to do a solo thing. I was doing a lot more solo acoustic stuff then. I was into James Taylor and Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, and Long as a Messina was a favorite of mine. And so she wanted me to do a solo thing for the general town, for the population there. And so we put it was pretty fun. We did the whole thing with posters and put them all over town. And I think there was about, I don't know, maybe 300 people, 400 people.
That's a good audience.
That was really scary. Yeah, I had a spotlight and a stool and a guitar against the stool. That was
your props.
That was my props. And then I had to go out in front of all these people and just entertain them. And I'd never done anything really like that before. So, I mean, I played in living rooms and, and little things we did with our garage bands, but nothing like that. So that was I thought I made it, that was the big time.
Well, you probably did. I mean, that sounds pretty interesting.
Those are my 15 seconds of fame.
Yeah. Well, I've never had 300 people. I think if I saw 300 people in one room, I'd faint, but
I did 5,000 once.
Oh my God.
5,000.
I think the most we ever did was at the car shows and fairs. People didn't just stand there, so there was a big crowd. It was people coming and going, but they'd stop by and listen, and
that's fun. That's fun too. It doesn't matter how many people; it's just having fun.
Yeah. Well, we had a lot of fun. I do have to admit that. So, and then when did you actually form another band where you had a professional band, or did you continue as an independent and solo artist?
both. So I continued doing the solo thing. And then I was about 16, I think, when I was reading I was living in Colville, and I was looking through the paper, the little paper they have there. And I was looking to see if there was anybody that wanted guitar players, or if I could get guitar players, just trying to connect with other musicians. And I saw this ad for a guitar player. And so I went over to the place and knocked on the door, and this guy, about I think he was in his 40s probably, he looked at me, and I was 16. I looked like I was 12 probably. And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "I'm here for the guitar audition." And he kind of almost laughed at me. And he goes, "Okay, that's cute. Come on in."
That's cute.
So I picked up the guitar, and I had pretty decent chops because I'd been playing a lot, and learning a lot. So I played some. I think I played some Chuck Berry for him, and did the Chuck Berry chops that he does, and he goes, "Okay, you're hired."
Cool.
So I got in this band, and he was from the East Coast. He had a very popular band on the East Coast where they wore all matching suits,
Yeah.
And this guy was legit. I mean, he's a keyboard player, but he was really good. And so he had been, so he has his band on the East Coast, but his wife lived in Colville when he met her, and his wife's family was in Colville. So he would come over in the summertime, and he would form a band, and then just for extra money, and then he would start playing around with this band. So I got in that band, and we were playing roadhouses along the Canadian border.
Wow.
And there were big crowds there. There were like crowds of 500 in these great big roadhouses. And so I played with him all summer, that summer. And that was my first experience with professional players, real professional players that knew what the hell they were doing. And I learned a lot from those folks. But I was the only guitar player. We had a bass player, a guitar player, a keyboardist, a drummer, and a female vocalist. And then the guy who started the thing also did vocals. And we were very popular. In fact, at our final performance, one of the people came up and said, "Hey, I own a string of these roadhouses all across Canada, right on the border." That's kind of where they're popular, on the border. Yeah. And he said, "So I'd like to have you guys tour." And so the drummer and I were going, "Yeah." He goes, "Where's the leader of the group?" And he's over there. So he went over and talked to him. He goes, I can't do that. I have my gigs on the East Coast, so I'm not doing that." So the drummer and I were really disappointed because we were thinking, this is it. We're going to hit the road. But yeah, wasn't to be.
Yeah. There was no way at that point that you could have started your own and taken him up on it on the.
Well, I talked to that. I put forward that idea to the drummer, and he goes, "Man, I'm old and you're 16. We ain't doing it."
Oh, great.
It starts early that
I had to sit on the stage. It was 21-year-old. It was on the Americans, the U.S. side, and it was 21 drinking age. So I had to sit on the stage, and I couldn't get off the stage because I was only 16.
Yeah.
But the drummer, now I shouldn't say this. My mom's listening maybe, but the drummer would sneak me drinks.
Oh, no.
And so I got a little bit tipsy a few times there, but yeah, it was fun.
Oh, no. So moving on from that point on to when did you start thinking about writing your own songs?
I was writing then. I wrote a couple of songs back then when I was around 15, 16. And I've been writing, ever since then. So, but sometimes I go through 10 years where I don't write a thing. Yeah. And then I'll go through 6 months where I write 5 songs, so right. It kind of, whenever it happens to hit me is when I write.
How do you, I noticed that you had some interesting videos. Do you do your own videos and your own recording, or how do you produce your music?
Are you, oh yeah. So you're talking about like the slideshows that have the music?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like to take photos. I'm a photographer. So It's just when I get a new song, and if I'm anxious to have people hear it, and I don't have a don't have the album done that I'm particularly recording on, and I just want to release it, then I'll take my photos and do a little photo montage with that original music in the background. So I've done a couple of those, and those are fun to do.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I also have my program. I don't know if you saw Musicians on the Water. Did you see that?
No, what is that?
So, well, it's not. We're just now starting to really try to promote it. I did the first episode when we were in lockdown, in COVID lockdown.
Okay.
And the idea was I was going to do much like you're doing here, interviewing other musicians and listening to their original music. But we're going to do it on my sailboat. So it's called Musicians on the Water.
Okay. No,
right.
I haven't seen that. I'm going to have to watch it.
Okay, it's on YouTube. If you go to my YouTube channel, there's a couple of, there's 2 episodes. I just did the second episode. I don't know if you know Steve Crabtree, but he was my special guest. He's a local musician, very popular musician, and a great guy. And he did 3 or 4, I think 4 of his original songs on it. They're short programs, not like yours, an hour. Mine are 15 minutes, and I edit them. They're not live streams.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're fun little programs, and so I did that, and I'm going to continue to do those episodes. So yeah, I get some videos out there. I have a little fun with it. I love what you're doing. This format's great.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I don't know how this all started. Next thing I know, I was doing this interview. But I know a lot of area musicians. I had a band from 2000 2015, but I was in the South Seattle area, not Tacoma, and but I came up north too. And yeah, so I had a lot of experiences. I jammed with 24 area bands at Jam before I ever started my own. And I just got to pick who I wanted, so anyway, yeah, I never wrote a song before last fall, a year ago. Yeah, and I picked one of the musicians that had come out to the jam set, the Twin Dragon in Duval, and his name is Chan Quist, and he's had his songs produced and so forth, and he's kind of well known, but more so for his lead playing in Heart by Heart. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they're a band that does the heart tunes. And
yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah. So that's how that got started. But I do know that you have a new album coming out. What is the name of it?
Boots in the Sand.
Oh, that's the name of the song too. Well, I don't know how I got it because I couldn't find it after I listened to it the first time. And I just loved it. I thought it was great.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a neat song. I like that song too. In fact, the album title was going to be I Need a Dirt Road, because there's another song called I Need a Dirt Road. So that was going to be the cover song for the album. And then when I wrote Boots in the Sand, I just liked it better. And so I changed the name of the album and the artwork and everything. And now it's Boots in the Sand.
Yeah. So if you have a few minutes, I wouldn't mind if you played it for our audience. And like I said, there's not a whole lot of people at the moment that are out there. They do work and they have other things going, but they will hear this. And hopefully, when is this album coming out before you start?
Well, we're on track to have it out 1st of December. And I think we'll be able to do that. I've been working on it for 2 years. Not earnestly, just a little bit here and there. But the last 6 months, I've gotten more serious about it and got a lot more new songs. And excited about the songs, excited about the album. It's turning out really well. So 1st of December, around there. Coming over here kind of slowed me down a little bit, but I brought most of the equipment so I can work on it a little bit here too. But I might be a little behind now because of coming over here.
Yeah. So, how many songs are in your album, and where does this place? Is this number one?
I don't know. I haven't figured out the order yet. Probably not number one. But there's 11 songs with a bonus song.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'd love to hear it. So go ahead.
I watch the sunrise, hold my hat down to shade my eyes, 'cause I've been plowing before dawn. An empty coffee cup, so I stop down by the truck, and with my feet up, I close my eyes. I got my boots in the sand, a Caribbean tan, umbrella drink in my hand. I got my boots in the sand, a Caribbean tan, umbrella drink in my hand. I'm a happy man. Me and her under the shade tree, Sunday afternoon. My little girl takes my hand, and she says, Daddy, will you come and play? And leads me to her backyard box, where I got my boots in the sand, a farmer's suntan, cold beer in my hand. I got my boots in the sand, a farmer's suntan, cold beer in my hand. I'm a happy man. It's been a long time since I plowed the land, but I know it's a young man's job. But when my strength is gone and all is said and done, I hope that I can say I got my boots in the sand, a Caribbean tan, umbrella drink in my hand. I got my boots in the sand, a Caribbean tan, umbrella drink in my hand. I got my boots in the sand, a Caribbean tan, umbrella drink in my hand. I'm a happy man.
All right. That's great. I like that song. It's got some, it almost brought me to tears there a couple of times.
It has brought a few to tears.
Yeah. No, I like, there's another song that you did about a road, Colville Road or something.
Oh, Aladdin Road. Yeah.
Yeah, Aladdin Road.
Yeah, I spent several years on a cattle ranch in Colville, and outside Colville, and Aladdin Road is the road that goes by that.
That goes by
that cattle ranch. Yeah. So, it was actually written. The lyrics were written by my great aunt in the 1940s.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was written apparently as a song. I didn't know this until later. I thought it was a poem because my mom had it in a poem form, and so I took it and put the music to it. My uncle, who owned the ranch that I was on there, he passed away last year, and at his memorial service, I played that. So that's one of the reasons I had that song, put that song together for his memorial service. But,
Oh,
yeah, it's a nice song. I like that song.
there we do have another commenter who did not identify themselves, but they said, "Wow, great song!" And
Oh, nice.
absolutely, it is a great song. And
Thank you, anonymous person.
you know, I can understand this. This whole music industry, and I think it's opening up right now because there are more and more independent singer-songwriter musicians like yourself out there writing stuff that should really be heard. I mean, it's I'm beginning to think that a lot of what's coming out of Nashville, and they have everything. I mean, it's not just country. Nashville is everything.
Yeah.
And this guy says his name is Matthew Bingham, who said that was a great song.
Thank you, Matthew.
So I think a lot of what's coming out of there in the country is kind of too much the same, but that's my opinion. Who knows?
Well, there's good stuff coming out of everywhere, and there's bad stuff coming out of everywhere. So yeah,
well, that's true. But yeah, there's a lot of good songs out there that just never get heard, and it's really too bad. I mean, but however, it seems that there's more and more call for independent singer-songwriters to put their stuff out there on stream and YouTube and Spotify and 150.
Well, we have a lot more. Yeah, we have a lot more options now
Yes.
than we used to, which is really nice. Like my recording, I'm doing all that recording myself. So I've got the equipment. I do it on the boat, which the boat is pill shaped. It's a sailboat.
Oh, stop.
Oh.
Just tell them what you live in. I think that's so cool.
Well, I live on a 30-foot sailboat in Edmonds Marina, Edmonds, Washington. Yeah, I've been living on that boat called the Lynn Ann. My wife passed away from cancer, and her name was Lynn, and so Lynn Ann, and so I named the boat Lynn Ann. I moved on to the boat shortly after she passed away. I had been living on boats before we got married. She got me off the boat and onto a land house, and then when she passed away, I sold the land house and went back onto the boat. So I've been living on sailboats for almost 20 years, with a couple of years in between where I married my second wife, Lynn. And I've been on this boat for about 12 years, I guess. Well, 11 years. She's been passed away about 11 years, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So I record on it, and it's perfect shape. It's pill shaped. So as long as the forklift isn't going outside, and as long as the wind isn't making all the clanky sounds, all through the marina. Most of the stuff that I record is going through a direct line into the software. So when I'm doing guitars and any other instruments that I put in, that outside noise doesn't bother it, but it's only vocals that I have. So I do them usually late at night when it's really quiet, and so it works out, and it's a fun place to record.
Yeah, I love the water. So I grew up in northern Minnesota. We had 10,000 lakes.
Right.
I think I spent
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And I had another comment here, again, not identified, but it says, I can see Tim McGraw or Kenny Chesney singing that song. And I agree. I think it's.
I hope they give me a call. We'll negotiate. I'd love to have them play that. It's like, I'd love to share this song, and there's a bunch more on this album that I think lend themselves to that. Mm-hmm. And I know there's a bunch of songwriters. I personally know a number of songwriters that are writing for pretty big name people, and so they love doing it. They can still share it. They can still perform it, but it's getting out to a bigger audience.
Right.
And so I'd love that. Yeah, it'd be great.
So did you say you had another song that you wanted to share? Or
no, I got several, but I can do one other one I wanted to do is.
I have a question though before you start. You said you went to a ranch and that was owned by your uncle, was it? Your uncle. Did you ride and you did the whole thing?
Yeah, I loved the whole. I was a cowboy. I was a real cowboy. Yeah.
And I think now I've seen some pictures of you that looks like you're in by a ranch of some sort singing?
Yeah, that's probably in Granite Falls.
Okay.
That's the Heartstrings for Horses Ranch.
Oh,
That's Beverly rescues these foals, wild foals, and then introduces them to mares, and the mares take over and become the foster mothers. So it's a great organization, and I do those concerts for free just because I'm trying to drive interest to, because she survives on donations. So that's
that's
Strength for
wonderful.
Horses Ranch. Yeah, and it's such a great venue, and we've had some really good concerts out there with a lot of really good folks playing music, and good folks listening to music, and we've got barbecues and just a lot of fun. It's a great place. I love that place.
It is. I knew when I first saw you, and you had this long coat that cowboys sometimes wear to get rid of the dust and all when they're out.
Yeah.
And I saw, I knew that guy's a cowboy. I didn't know the story.
I love that coat. Okay, so you want to hear another song?
One more commenter here. It says Cindy Dudd O'Sullivan.
Yep.
Kanak something. Kavadi.
Yeah.
Almadina.
Kanak. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What is that?
Kanak's in India, so he does a similar show to yours.
Really?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what the name of it is. Sorry, Kanak. Anyway, I was interviewed on his show too, but that was last year sometime. But he has a great show. He interviews independent musicians from all over the world.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
I applaud him for that.
Yeah, me too. Good to see you. Kanak. Good to hear from you, Kanak. And Cindy is a good friend of mine too.
All right.
Glad they're on there.
Somebody else wrote Funky TV, and I'm not sure exactly what they mean there, but
what was it again?
Funky TV.
Oh, yeah. That's Kanak's. That's Kanak's show, because Funky is it's Kanak and another young lady, and I'm not sure where she's from. I can't remember now. I'm going to get in trouble from Linda. She's going to go, you forgot all this stuff. Anyway, Funky, that's not a real name, but she's a very sweet young lady, and so they have dual hosts. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, they're great. I love those guys. Sorry, I couldn't give you guys a better promo there.
Well, guess what? They're still comedy. So Funky is from Bosnia.
Bosnia.
And Kanak is from India.
India. I knew where Kanak was from. I just wasn't sure where Funky was from.
That is so cool. Yeah. I know they're on here, but maybe you could put the link to their show or something for us. All right.
Happy to do that.
Okay. Now I want to
hear here's the song. So this song is so I have some friends that are Nashville musicians, and it's a husband and wife, and they were getting up, and I opened for them a show they did in Seattle, and they did this song that was kind of a showing how the differences in a relationship can work out, and I love that concept, and I was thinking about it, and so I wrote my version of that concept.
All right.
It's called Perfectly in Love.
Cool.
I love the mountains. She likes the ocean. I like the tree line. She adores the shore. And how we got together is anyone's guess. But what's you in my heart? Yes, it says it best. We're perfect when we kiss, perfect when we hug, walking in the moonlight. Oh, we're perfectly in love. Not two peas in a pod, or hand in a glove. No, we're not perfect. We're just perfectly in love. I drink decaf. She prefers it strong. I enjoy a juicy steak. She just thinks it's wrong And how we got together is anyone's guess. But what's here in my heart, yes, it says it best. We're perfect when we kiss, perfect when we hug, walking in the moonlight. Oh, we're perfectly in love. Not two peas in a pod, or hand in a glove. No, we're not perfect, we're just perfectly in love. I love to rodeo, she loves to sail. I don't like the clearinghouse, but she puts it in the mail. And how we got together is anyone's guess. But what's here in my heart, yes, it says it best. We're perfect when we kiss, perfect when we hug, walking in the moonlight. Oh, we're perfectly in love. Not two peas in a pod, or hand in the glove. No, we're not perfect, we're just perfectly in love. We're perfect when we kiss, perfect when we hug, walking in the moonlight. Oh, we're perfectly in love. Not two peas in a pod, or hand in a glove. No, we're not perfect, we're just perfectly in love. We're not perfect, we're just perfectly in love.
Bravo. Oh, yes. Ah, that reminds me, on some of your shows that I was watching on your videos at Maynard's in Silverdale, and that looks like
Maynard's.
a place, with great food too. We couldn't get out there on Saturday, but we are definitely hoping to get out there. So, and I encourage anybody who just looks it up, to look it up on the internet and consider going out there. What is the time of your shows on Saturday? It's every Saturday at
every Saturday except for last Saturday because I came over here, and next Saturday because I'll still be here. But when I return, it's 5:30 to 8. I play 5:30 to 8 on the Saturdays. Yeah. It is a great place. It's really fun. In fact, I think we were talking on the pre-show, and I was telling you about the fact that I was the environmental engineer.
Yes.
That's what I did in another life.
Great
For 35
story.
years, I was an environmental technician, environmental engineer, and I was kind of like Clark Kent. That was my Clark Kent side, and then I go out and play music. But so I was the environmental manager of that site for 2 years. And then when it finished, I said, well, are you going to have a grand opening? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, I play music. He didn't even know I played music at that point. And he goes, okay. And so I played. They liked it. Other people like it. So then I've had a standing gig ever since. Yeah.
Lovely. Wonderful. Good luck in the future on that.
Thank you.
Also, like I said, when I was watching it, there is a lady that sings with you. I believe her stage name is Elly Mae. Is that correct? Can you tell us a little about this lady and your performances?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Her name is Linda Rick. Her alias is Elly Mae. People know her on Facebook by Elly Mae. That was her, and she's probably listening here. She said she was going to.
Yes.
So she that was her childhood nickname, Elly Mae, and of course it's Elly Mae Clampett from the Beverly Hillbillies. But Linda is a wonderful professional background singer, and she's so talented in many, many other ways. She's an artist. She's a photographer. She's just really, really talented person. And she started following my music on Facebook and wanted to promote it, really loved the music, and kind of became my my PR person. And then, we spent a lot of time together doing that, and online and emailing and texting and all of that. And it just kind of flowed into we were dating, and so now we're dating steadily. And yeah, so
Everybody loves a good love story.
yeah. And she, as I mentioned, she's a wonderful singer, has sung with a number of really great talents, amongst them Emmylou Harris,
Wow.
the band Alabama, and others. And she's just an excellent, polished background singer.
Absolutely. Yeah,
And,
from what
and
I've heard.
which you heard some of it, yeah.
Yes.
And and from what people say, I think, and she does, and other people say, our voices really blend nicely together.
They do.
So we're having a lot of fun with that. What happens? The venue, the format typically is I'll go up and do my solo thing for about an hour, and then if it's like a 2-hour set or 2-hour performance, do an hour set, and then she comes up and does an hour with me at the end. And we're expanding that slowly as she gets more, more of my songs.
Right.
And we're going to also do some. She's reluctant to do solo stuff, but I want her to do some solo things. We've tried a few times, and they're good. But we're working on a couple more, so she's going to be doing some solo stuff too.
So I'm hoping to have her. I'm hoping to have her on our show.
Well, you should definitely, yeah. I think you should. Yep.
I've been watching her for a while on my Facebook and Messenger and so forth. And yeah, I like what I see. So there we've got 2 messages. Maybe Elly Mae, or what's her first name? Really?
Linda Rick. Yeah.
Linda says you will be back at Maynard's restaurant in Silverdale on November 20th, starting at 5:30. So.
Thank you, Linda.
On your calendar.
She's still doing PR stuff. She's still doing publicist stuff for me. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Appreciate that.
Then we have another one that said, did not identify themselves, but they said, there's nothing better than Elly and Steven singing together. Oh. And, the voices blend naturally. I mean, it's, I've listened to their sound, and although I'm not an expert, I'm just making a comment to what I see and hear, is that it's great music for dinner time. And that sounds to me like it's probably during the time where people are eating. And it's not amplified to the point where you can't hear yourself talk.
Right.
And it's just mellow, beautiful music that moves the spirit. So we want to thank you for that. I do hope to catch your show.
Thank you. I hope you do too.
The next question I wanted to ask, but it was kind of a tough time for most of the musicians. They're a crazy bunch. I'll tell you, almost everybody that I've talked to so far did not let moss grow under their feet.
Right.
They were busy writing or playing at home or practicing or doing something creative and just kept trudging on and getting there. And it's the courageous spirit of musicians to be able to function during that terrible time when a lot of them are professional musicians, but that's where the money comes from. I mean, they don't have any other source of income.
That's right.
It's just amazing. So now the question is on you. What were you doing during COVID, and how did you survive?
Well, I did what they were doing. I just played, because when you're a musician and you love music, you just play. It's part of who you are. You can't not do it. It's just what you do. And so I sat in my boat when we were in lockdown, and I played and I wrote songs and try to amuse myself with the music. Did the program I was telling you about earlier. Musicians on the Water. I set that all up and did the first episode with me as my own guest. So
cool.
I was interviewing myself. And so I did that. And then because my elderly parents is one of the reasons I'm here now, they were, needing some help during that time. And so I came over. I was probably over here more than I was over on the west side of the mountains.
So now what little town did you say you were in?
Republic.
Oh, yeah.
Republic, Washington.
I've heard of it, but I
it's just north of Colville. And Colville is just north of Spokane, so you can kind of build a line
to get it that way. Idea.
Yeah. So I think I probably was over here about 9 months out of that that full year that we were, that COVID was really going strong. So that was kind of a blessing in a way, because I was able to spend that time over here. And I had just retired from my engineering job. I thought, I'll retire from engineering, I'll play music, it'll be what I need to supplement my Social Security that I was getting. And then COVID hit and I had no income to supplement. And so it was a little touch and go, but I had some resources that I'd saved up over the years, and that helped. And coming over here and just kind of not going out all the time and going to restaurants, because I couldn't go out to restaurants. And so, and then the government had those few checks that helped too, help get me through. So that's kind of what I did. Yeah. Helped my parents and worked on music. Some of those things you saw on my not my YouTube channel, but on Facebook, the videos were filmed right here in this basement I'm in my mom's basement right now. And I did those just because I was bored and wanted to do something, and put those out. And I did a couple of live streams. I did a live stream from Ingles Pub in Edmonds.
Yeah, I know where that is.
Yeah, I did a couple of other live stream things, but not a lot of live streaming because I was over here mostly.
Yeah. Well, I have another commenter here. It's Matthew Bingham. He said he'd like to know what artist got Steven interested not only in the guitar, but singing and writing too.
Well, there was a lot of them, a lot of musicians. This is the reason that I can play, I think, successfully in those venues you mentioned, restaurants and different places like that, wine tasting places, and because I play all kinds of different genres of music. I don't just play country western. I play jazz, I play blues, I play folk rock, I play rock and roll, I play all of that stuff. And so a lot of different influences, back in the 70s when I was really I had a steep learning curve in the 70s. James Taylor was a big one. It was a very big one. Loggins and Messina. I loved Kenny Loggins. I still do. And his cousin Dave Loggins, who wrote "Please Come to Boston," was also a big influence on me.
Love that song.
And I'm still, even to this day, I've got at least a half a dozen Dave Loggins songs that I do, including "Please Come to Boston," that I cover. So, and there was so many, Elton John, the Beatles. I mean, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Neil Young. I play lots of Neil Young.
Yeah.
And some country western, not so much back then. My dad was a big country western fan. I wasn't necessarily.
I'm not a fan of that older music, although I know it.
Yeah. I think it's got a lot going on, and I've grown to appreciate it a lot more.
Yes.
But what I'll do is take songs that have a typical way of being played and play them completely different. Like
exactly.
Like I hear the train a coming, it's rolling round the bend, and I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. Well, I'm stuck in Folsom Prison. See, so something like that. It's not the typical way that he did. I always say that Johnny Cash just turned over in his grave when I get done with that. But people like it. That particular song is Folsom Prison Blues. Yeah. So I play it as a blues song.
Yes. I was doing a song called Seven Spanish Angels. And it's a Willie Nelson song. I think he did it with Ray Charles. It was a duet. And I want to put that to a Spanish beat. And when I had my band, we did. But right. I play with rockers, so it's a little harder to get them to do that. But yeah, I think it really, I like that. I like when an artist takes something and makes it new again. And hopefully we'll get to hear some of that too.
Yeah, absolutely. I do some Ray Charles. I love Ray Charles. I like the Motown. I've got a number of Motown songs I do. I really like that genre of music.
I'm not sure what Motown is, but I was watching this series, and they had all these different kinds of music and the history of that music. And it was music that came out of the South, the in the plantations. And a lot of the people that, so it said, that they brought over were men, and they ended up marrying Indian women. So they combined the two genres, and you add in all the other things that were going on into that, and it's amazing, the music, the progression of the music from where it started.
It really is. Motown is Motortown, Detroit. So it's those African American artists that came out of that era. What would that be, in the 40s, 50s? Motown. So Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder, and and a bunch of other, maybe not Stevie Wonder so much, but you know what I mean. That it was that era, and the Detroit sound. They call it the Detroit sound. So it's great, rhythmical, just heartfelt. Lyrics are wonderful. It's just really great music. And so I've got a number of those songs that I do my own little treatment on. I love them.
I had a guy here. I don't know if you know him, a musician, singer-songwriter, Lynn Sorensen. He for a while he played as the bassist for Bad Company. He's I put all of these interviews on YouTube. So if you go to my channel, I'd enjoy analyze.
A couple of them.
Yeah, if you go in there, you should be able to see all the interviews that I've done. And Lynn was one of them. And, his basic message was he got it, and he's done classical music. I mean, that's his background too. But of course, now he's a little more of a rocker. But he said the whole reason for his music and doing what he does is to make people to put the feelings out there, so the audience can feel what the singer is trying, the message they're trying to convey.
Right.
And I find a lot of that in your music. So,
thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm a storyteller. I love to tell stories.
Yes, exactly. That's how I do mine. So here's a question, from Funky Almedina. Says, what's the first song Steven learned to play? And I think you played that, did you not? You played a little bit at the beginning?
Well, yeah, that was...
And yes, I can see your name. Funky Almedina.
It was a song that I learned when I was taking guitar lessons. That wasn't the first song I learned. I think the very first song I ever learned on guitar was something from the Mel Bay Book 1 that was, what is it? Row, row, row your boat or something. I don't know. I don't know what it was.
Does that answer your question, listener? I hope it does. Funky Almedina. So
love you, Funky.
So this moves us in. I got 7 minutes to move you into the last portion of our interview. And those are questions. I usually ask a question at the end, but before we get into what you've got coming out, we already know you have an album coming out called Boots in the Sand. Love it. But of all the things that you've done since you were 9 years old and had that drum set of yours as your first musical instrument, what are some of the highs and... All right, thank you. He said it sure did. Thanks. What are some of the highs and lows moments, especially the high kind of thing where you leave and you think, oh my God, that just happened?
There's been so many of those.
Yeah.
I have 6 albums. This will be my 6th album.
Oh.
My first 3 albums were gospel, original gospel. So I came from gospel, like Elvis Presley and Johnny Cash and so many others. I came from gospel. And I mentioned earlier that I had played in front of an audience of about 5,000.
Yes.
And that was I just done my first gospel album, and it is the best-selling of all my albums so far.
What's the name of it?
It's called Let Me Sing, Let Me Dance.
Cool.
Yeah. And so I was playing at a bunch of churches had gotten all together, and it was, I think they call it like a camp meeting or something. It's a big, where all the churches come together. And so I was up in front of these 5,000 people playing songs off of my original songs off my new album, Let Me Sing, Let Me Dance. So that was pretty heady for those days for me, to be in front of that many people. Absolutely. And have an album and have everybody loving the album. So that was a cool time. Way before that, when I was doing the Roadhouses when I was 16, one night I was playing on the stage, and as I said, the drummer was slipping me a few drinks, and so I was feeling no pain that night, and I was playing. They had me do a little vignette of Chuck Berry songs, and I was just kind of oblivious to the crowd and to what was going on, and I was just playing way beyond my ability for some reason that night, and I was playing like crazy, and all of a sudden I felt something on my head, and when I look up, everything's dark. And then I push it. I realize it's a great big cowboy hat that had been put on me from someone that was on front of the stage, and it went down below my eye. I couldn't see, and I pushed it up, and I look out, and there's like 300 people on the dance floor, all stopped dancing, and it's just doing this. And so for a moment there, I was Johnny B. Good, playing guitar like a ringing a bell. Yeah. So that was another incredible time in my career. Yeah.
Have you ever wanted to do something like through a record company or whatever? I mean, did you have any aspirations to go much, much bigger?
No.
Yeah.
No. I would like to share my music. I'd like to go. I just bought a travel trailer. I'd like to go around the country. This is a toy hauler, so you can put your motorcycle in. I like motorcycles. Yeah. Put my motorcycle in, but you can also raise it up just a little bit and it becomes a stage. So I'd love to go and just pull into these places where there's other campers around and make the stage, go out there and play, and have people in their lawn chairs sitting out there, and maybe put a tip jar out to pay for the overnight stay. That's, to me, that's success.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that dream. I hope you do it. And
I will do it.
All right. I got another commenter here, says, great story. And I have up on the top, I don't know if you can see it on yours, but there's a little happy face there. Somebody put a little happy face.
I don't see it here, no. But okay. Thank you for the happy face.
They can't send like stars or hearts or anything like that, but they want you to know that you're being appreciated.
Oh, that's nice.
So just in closing, we might go over a few minutes. Do you have anything on your schedule that would interfere if we do?
No.
Okay. I just want to get a list of the albums that you have out. If you don't want to tell me all 6 of them on in the interview, you can certainly put them online. Mm-hmm. I'd like to hear more. And I'm sure there are people out there who would. And I look at another message here. It said, well, royalties wouldn't be bad, actually.
Right.
I understand that's going up. I understand that the stream, how much you get for streaming, which is insane. I'm paying 0.0044 cents for streaming.
Yeah.
But they are going to raise that. And so I think there's good news in the future.
We got to raise to 0.05 now. So
I don't know.
I get so my 6 albums, 3 of the first 3 were gospel, as I mentioned. Let Me Sing, Let Me Dance, Walk with Him, the other one, Sailing to the Lighthouse, my favorite gospel hymns, done in all kinds of different genres of music. Like I do The Old Rugged Cross as a blues song, and How Great Thou Art as a calypso number. So I put all these different stylizations on them, and I love that album. Those are my first 3 gospel. Then I did 3 I did 2, and then there'll be my 3rd secular album, which are a combination of country, folk rock, blues, that sort of thing. And those can all be found. There's Whistling in the Dark. What's the last one? Well, Whistling in the Dark's the last one, and shoot, I can't think of the other name. And then Boots in the Sand will be coming out. So those are all on Amazon.
Okay.
So you can get them on Amazon or any there. So I use CD Baby. You familiar with CD Baby?
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. Okay. So I use CD Baby. They're great. They're not expensive, and they do a really good job of getting the music out to all these different venues.
150 different streams.
Right. So so on just about any music outlet, you can find me and my music. There is another Steven Padilla. He's a rock guy. Yeah. He's down in Alabama. A good country western rockabilly kind of player, and a real nice young guy. But so don't get my stuff confused with his stuff, or buy his stuff too. I don't care. So anyway, you can get that. I'm all out of the physical albums. I got to do another run on the last 2. The gospel I still have, but the 2 secular ones I'm all out of. When I do the new album, I'm going to do another run on those, and as well as the new albums. Perfect. You wanted me to say something else, and I can't remember what it was.
No, I don't know. It'll come to me, but I do have more chatter here. Funky Al Medina says, awesome interview. Sorry I missed the first half. Thanks for tagging me, Elly. And then somebody wrote, I will never forget my girl.
My girl.
I don't know what that meant. And then another one, The Water is Wide is the other record.
Oh yeah, The Water is Wide. Yeah. That's the other secular one. That must have been Linda, Elly Mae saying that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would assume from the way she's written.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess that about wraps up. I hate to end this interview. I was truly enjoying it.
Oh,
I love
me too.
your music. Thank you so much for playing
for us.
Thank you,
Joy, and thank you for doing what you do here. It's just it's great, and you're a very easy interview person, and I've enjoyed it a lot. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I try to keep it, I could go formal. I could do this really professional type thing, but, that's not what we are. We're musicians, sure. And I think that keeping it relaxed is a conversation you have anywhere.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is a good format. So thank you very much for appreciating that. And there was Funky Al Medina wrote, that was all Elly. Guess you didn't see the StreamYard name permissions thingy. Love it. So I do want to thank you again. I hope to see you in the future. I certainly want to listen to your music, and good luck in your future endeavor and that dream you have. When you go out there to tour, do tell us.
Absolutely. I'll keep in touch. I'll keep you informed. Thank you, Joy. Thanks for inviting me on. And thanks for everybody for showing up.
Listen, yes, thank you all very much. You have a good rest of your day.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.